Namaste. Welcome to my channel Watch and Learn Hindi. Today I'm going to talk about मैं and mujhe. Both are used for I, that is, when talking in first person. So the obvious question is when to use मैं and when to use mujhe. In this video, I will tell you how to figure that out. I will show you example sentences showing specific use of मैं and mujhe. Additionally, I will give you specific examples where you can use either मैं or mujhe, and I will also tell you how the sentence construction changes depending on your choice of मैं or mujhe. Now, example sentences can be gender specific or gender neutral. So if you see this icon, then the gender is feminine, and if you see this icon, then the gender is masculine. Otherwise, the sentence is gender neutral. And before we start, please subscribe to my channel, and after this video, check out my other videos. If you would like to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. And don't forget to like this video. Let's start. First, मैं, which is I in English. The simplest use of मैं is मैं हूँ, which in English means I am. Here, I want to point out that हूँ is used exclusively with मैं and never with mujhe. So, if a sentence is ending with हूँ, it will not start with mujhe. But let's first talk about मैं in detail. There are a lot of sentences that can start with I am. So, if in English the sentence is I am and then rest of the sentence, then in Hindi you start the sentence with मैं, end with हूँ, and in between is rest of the sentence. So, what can you put in between मैं and हूँ to make other sentences? Well, a lot of things like your name, profession, nationality, mood or an emotion, activity, a quality or an attribute. Let us go through them one by one with example sentences. The first is name. So, if your name is Sheetal, in English you will say, I am Sheetal. In Hindi, it will be, मैं शीतल हूँ. मैं शीतल हूँ. Next is profession. If in English you say, I am a lawyer, in Hindi, it will be, मैं वकील हूँ, where वकील is lawyer. So, I am a lawyer in Hindi is, मैं वकील हूँ. Another example of a profession which is gender specific is I am an actress, which in Hindi is मैं अभिनेत्री हूँ. अभिनेत्री is actress. मैं अभिनेत्री हूँ. And for masculine gender, in English it is I am an actor. In Hindi it will be मैं अभिनेता हूँ, where अभिनेता is actor. मैं अभिनेता हूँ. Next is nationality. So if in English you say I am Indian, in Hindi it will be मैं भारतीय हूँ. भारतीय is Indian. मैं भारतीय हूँ. If it is a mood or emotion, I am worried, in Hindi will be मैं चिंतित हूँ, where चिंतित is worried. मैं चिंतित हूँ. Another example is I am tired. In English, it is gender neutral, but in Hindi, if it is feminine gender, it will be मैं थकी हूँ, where thaki is tired and the gender is feminine. मैं थकी हूँ. For masculine gender, it will be मैं थका हूँ, where thaka is tired and the gender is masculine. मैं थका हूँ. For an activity, if you want to say I am eating, in Hindi you will say मैं खा रही हूँ. Here, rahi tells us that the gender is feminine. मैं खा रही हूँ. And for the masculine gender, for I am eating, will be मैं खा रहा हूँ, where khana is eating and raha tells us that the gender is masculine. मैं खा रहा हूँ. For a quality or an attribute, if you want to say I am vegetarian, you will say मैं शाकाहारी हूँ, where शाकाहारी is vegetarian. मैं शाकाहारी हूँ. If you want to say I am tall, in Hindi it becomes gender specific and you will say मैं लंबी हूँ. For feminine gender, where लंबी means tall, मैं लंबी हूँ. And for I am tall, if you say मैं लंबा हूँ, it is masculine gender, where लंबा again means tall. मैं लंबा हूँ. So here is again all the things that you can put between मैं and हूँ to make a sentence. Next, let us talk about mujhe, which can also be used for I. But unlike मैं, mujhe is generally used when we want to say I have, I want, I know, or I like. And also when you want to say I don't have, don't want, don't know, or don't like. Let's look at each scenario with example sentences which will make it more clear. So if in English the sentence is I have, then rest of the sentence, then in Hindi you will start the sentence with mujhe and end with hai. In between will be the rest of the sentence. So if you want to say I have fever, you will say मुझे बुखार है, where बुखार is fever. मुझे बुखार है. Similarly, if you want to say I don't have and then rest of the sentence, you will say मुझे, rest of the sentence, and then end it with नहीं है, where नहीं stands for do not. So if you want to say I don't have fever, in Hindi it will be मुझे बुखार नहीं है. मुझे बुखार नहीं है. Next is I want, which in Hindi will be मुझे, and then you end the sentence with चाहिए and rest of the sentence is in between. An example for that is I want water. So you can say मुझे पानी चाहिए, where पानी is water. मुझे पानी चाहिए. If you want to say I don't want something, then it will be मुझे something नहीं चाहिए. So if you say I don't want food, in Hindi will be मुझे खाना नहीं चाहिए, where खाना is food. मुझे खाना नहीं चाहिए. Then is I know something. In Hindi will be मुझे, whatever is that you know, पता है. So if you say I know this, you will say मुझे यह पता है, where यह is this. So I know this is मुझे यह पता है. If you want to say I don't know something, you will say मुझे, whatever is that you don't know, नहीं पता है. So if you just want to say I don't know, it will be मुझे नहीं पता है. Or if you want to say something specific like I don't know that, then you will say मुझे वह नहीं पता है, where वह is that. So I don't know that becomes मुझे वह नहीं पता है. And then the last set is I like something. So you will say मुझे, whatever that you like, पसंद है. So if you want to say I like tea, in Hindi you will say मुझे चाय पसंद है, where chai is tea, and so I like tea is मुझे चाय पसंद है. And if you don't like something and you want to say I don't like something, then you will say मुझे, whatever it is that you don't like, पसंद नहीं है. So if you don't like tea and you want to say I don't like tea, in Hindi you will say मुझे चाय पसंद नहीं है. Again, chai is tea. मुझे चाय पसंद नहीं है. So all these were the examples where you use मुझे. Now, third and the last thing. There are some situations where you can use either मैं or मुझे for I. But depending on which one you use, the sentence construction changes. Let me show you some examples to make it clear. I like tea. You already saw that if you want to use मुझे, you will say मुझे चाय पसंद है, where chai is tea and पसंद is like. But if you want to say मैं, then you will say मैं चाय पसंद करती हूँ. And in this case, this is the feminine gender. If you want to say it in a masculine gender, then you will say मैं चाय पसंद करता हूँ. So there are two things happening. One, the sentence construction changes. And second, with मुझे, the sentence is gender neutral. But with मैं, it becomes gender specific. And in the feminine form, karti is what tells us that the gender is feminine and karta is masculine. So, I like tea, you can either say मुझे चाय पसंद है, or you say मैं चाय पसंद करती हूँ for feminine, मैं चाय पसंद करता हूँ for masculine gender. Similarly, if you want to say I don't like tea, again with मुझे, it's a gender neutral sentence and you can just say मुझे चाय पसंद नहीं है. But if you want to use मैं, for feminine gender you will say मैं चाय पसंद नहीं करती हूँ. And for masculine, मैं चाय पसंद नहीं करता हूँ. And the last example is If you want to say I like going to library, with mujhe you will say मुझे पुस्तकालय जाना पसंद है, where पुस्तकालय is library and going is jana. So with mujhe it is मुझे पुस्तकालय जाना पसंद है and pasand is like. But if you want to use मैं, you will say मैं पुस्तकालय जाना पसंद करती हूँ. And for masculine gender it will be मैं पुस्तकालय जाना पसंद करता हूँ. Thanks for watching, and I hope you now have a better understanding of when and how to use मैं and मुझे when talking in first person. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the bell icon to get latest notification when the new videos are posted.